don't know. He's making sense. We ain't. I think we is. What up, world? It's your boy Ace Boogie.
And it's your dude Lambo Warren.
And we got a special guest. Ma'am, please tell us about yourself real quick.
Real quick? Like,
Not real quick, but tell us about who you are and what you do.
So I'm Judge Alvarez. I am the judge of the 45th District Court here in Bexar County. It's a civil court. And I'm a mom. I used to be a lawyer.
Oh, really?
Well, I spent 15 years litigating before I took the bench. So the majority of my career was at Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid, representing victims of domestic violence and divorce and custody and protective order litigation. I was a federal law clerk, and I represented corporate defendants, GM mostly, in product liability defense work. And then when I came back home to San Antonio, I started doing all family law. So I did family law for Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid, and I did family law in private practice, and now I'm a judge. So that's why I say I used to be a lawyer, now I'm a judge. And
what made you want to transition from judge to lawyer? I mean, lawyer to judge, I'm sorry.
Serving the community more, I guess. So as an attorney, I would come to court with 1, 2, maybe, if it was a short hearing, 3 cases at a time. As a judge, I will hear anywhere from 5 to 7 to 8 cases, depending on what their time announcements are. So every day I'm helping that many more people. And so that was my goal. That's my goal, is to help as many people as I can with the time that I've got.
Which one is more stressful, being the lawyer trying to convince the judge, or being the judge just listening?
You know, I love that description of a judge, right? Like, oh, you just have to listen.
You're the boss.
But it's not,
you make the final decision.
Yeah.
Well,
you looked at me wrong 40 years. 40 years.
No, it doesn't work
You're
that
getting
way.
a full
No.
40.
No early release.
Contempt.
Oh my gosh. So there's just so much that goes into just listening and to rendering that decision,
Please
right?
explain,
you want,
yes.
well, you want to do the best job you can, right? So I've read books. I'm doing self-improvement all the time, but like the psychology of decision making, the philosophy of decision making, kind of, making sure that there's no confirmation bias happening. So you've got like,
wow, you think about a million things at one time, aren't you?
all at the same time, and you're evaluating people, right? And people, we're so dynamic, right? The humanity of everything makes things complicated. It's never black and white. It's never all this, all that. It's somewhere with all of these gradients in the middle, right? Just not to sound trite, but there's a lot to consider at any given moment with every given witness and document, right? Like there's all of this behind the scenes processing before you get to your final decision. And if you're dedicated, I think I'm dedicated to making the right decision. You're trying to do all of that in real time. And so it's not a passive position. It's very much engaged. It's very active, and it's intense. It's sometimes, most of the time, it's emotionally heavy, especially when you're talking about children and you're talking about, I'm a parent, so I have hopes and dreams and aspirations and desires for my children, and, you can't help but want the same things for other kids, for our community's kids. And so there's a lot behind the just listening part.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. Do you ever had to make, like, I guess being a judge, a decision and like it went home with you, like, dang, I had to do that to that person, and then I guess being a judge would be like the closest thing to
being God or something?
Not being God, like not that, but you got to make a tough decision, and they're not always gonna be great decisions. Sometimes you got to really hurt people, because you're dealing with a defendant and, you get what I'm saying, a plaintiff. Well, I don't know if that works in both, but you're dealing with 2 different people, and one of them are going to go home the loser. You get what I'm saying? One of them are going to go home unhappy, and one of them are going to go home in their favor. So have you ever did something that's like, dang, gotta do it to you. Gotta do it to you.
Well, it is hard, especially, I think, in the family law context, because that is so much more personal. That is so much more in the here and now, and the decisions are affecting not just,
It's
in
long-term.
the future, but
Right.
it's like affecting that evening or the next day. But yes, there have been cases that have stayed with me, and there are cases that I bring back for status, right? Like I kind of want to see what's happening. If there was counseling ordered, if there was therapeutic intervention that was ordered, I want to know if the case and the family and the kids are going down the right direction.
Okay. Well, being that you have kids, how do you separate your personal life from the cases? You know what I mean? Or do you use that sometimes in your cases to make your decision? Like, being that I have kids, would I want this for them? Or you can't do that at all?
So I think being a parent makes me a better judge. I think in the cases that come before our district court judge, with the state district court judge on the civil side, I think being a parent makes me a more effective judge, because I think I'm listening with that perspective as part of who I am. But I do make a very deliberate and conscious effort to turn it off so I can be present for my kids. Right? So, the drive home or the drive to their school to pick them up, I try to really process what happened that day, try to compartmentalize to the extent that I can by really articulating, okay, what is left me wondering or worrying about that case? What can I do about it? And if I can't do anything about it, then I've processed it, right? I did the best that I could with the information that I had. And then I've got to go on to the next thing. And for me, after work, the court day is done, the next thing is typically my kids, right? What are we going to be doing?
Right.
How am I going to engage them in a healthy way that promotes their safety and their prosperity and their security, right? So I do make a very meaningful and conscious effort to shift. And then when they go to sleep, if there's still more work to do, then they're asleep, and now I can go back to my work, to my passion, whether I'm reading articles, whether I'm reviewing my notes, whether I'm looking through emails. Like I have time to go back to the workday once they're asleep and once they've had their share of me, right? Because I'm theirs.
Right. He has several hats.
Let me ask you this. Are you issuing jail time as well, or?
So on the civil side, jail time only comes into play for contempt action. So motions for enforcement, and there's a finding of contempt, and then there may be jail time. It's rare.
Well, let me ask you this. What's the most time you done gave somebody? You ever gave somebody life or something like that, though?
No. So on the civil side,
I'm about to
6
say, like,
6 months.
80 years.
No, and I'll tell you, as a federal law clerk, because my judge in Beaumont, in the Eastern District, that federal court heard civil and criminal cases, and working on the criminal cases was very hard for me. One of the first cases that I kind of briefed, right? That's what the law clerks do, is we kind of like do the research and
This is on the lawyer
draft
side.
things. This is on the federal side.
Oh.
So
was this when you was a lawyer, or this is
when I was a lawyer?
Okay.
That's how I started my career as a
Right.
federal law clerk for Judge Clark, and it was a RICO case, so there was a lot of time involved. And the defendant was young Latino, and he took the stand, which is rare.
Does that mean
So
AKA
testified,
snitch?
basically.
He testified,
Right.
and his lawyer was one of the best federal public defenders that was in that jurisdiction. And he was, you can talk with people and you're like, man, you got a good head on your shoulders, right? Like you could
be my son.
You could be my son. You could be my brother.
You could be something
You
in
could
life
be
other than
something
this right
other
now.
than
Right.
The situation.
where you landed,
Right.
right? Like you could be the CEO, or you could be like the kingpin of the gang.
Yeah.
Like
You could have been anyone.
either path. And this guy, this is right when I got out of law school, so I was 25, 26, and he was a contemporary. He was around that age, maybe early 30s, and his sentence, I think, was like 60 years, maybe 50 years. And it did that day. It devastated me. I remember calling a mentor from law school in the parking lot, and I was crying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I scared him. So Judge Greenaway, I spent a year interning for him in New Jersey. And I think when I called him, I was crying so much. He was like, "What is happening?" I was like, "I just saw this, and I just had to do this, and this is how many years he got, and I just can't believe it."
Was he your client or he was the other person's client?
He wasn't my client. He was. I was working for the judge, and so I was helping with the jury.
Just what you're
instructions
seeing, like,
but
dang, I just seen
I'm in the
somebody get
courtroom.
60 years.
Right. I'm in the courtroom, and I'm watching the arguments, and I'm watching the evidence, and you get to watch the jurors. And of course, you don't go to the deliberation room. Nobody goes to the deliberation room except for the jurors. But they came back and they read the sentence, and they read the guilt, not guilty on the counts. Go back and deliberate. Come back, read the sentence, and it's just
It's tough.
it's tough.
Well,
I'm glad I don't do criminal law. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like I'm
No,
glad
I want to
don't.
hear. That's
understand.
crazy. That's heartbreaking. And like to hear 60 years, especially if you're like 20,
Or 30.
like 20 or 30.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
just-
that's the rest of your life,
your
pretty
lifetime,
much.
yeah.
And shout out to D Live, man, for watching. Shout out to Star,
What
man,
up, D
and
Live?
Eric, man.
What up, Star? What up,
we're hearing,
Eric?
we're hearing a lot about the heartbreak and kind of, I would say, per se, the negative of it. But what's the fun part about being a judge?
Fun. Well, we get to do things that make an impact immediately.
Okay.
Right. So some of the things that I've been doing are bringing training on domestic violence and how it intersects with custody cases or parenting. Really studying and bringing that education to the community, to our sister courts, to the attorneys, like having that opportunity to do that.
How exactly do you do that? If you
So-
break it down.
When I first started back in 2019, I would host quarterly lunch and learns, right? So people would come to the courtroom and I would have arranged speakers. And, it is nice to be able to ask someone, "Hey, could you do this for me?" And they're like, "Yes, Judge,
Of
I can
course.
do that." Exactly, right?
Go
So
give
we
me a
had-
coffee, 2 sugars,
No,
3 sugars, sending it back.
but
4
no.
sugars, sending it back.
No, nobody brings me coffee. But some really great experts in the field would be generous with their time when the judge is hosting a training event, right? And that's been really nice. And I started that 2019. We did it in person, and then of course COVID happened, and so we were able to shift to the Zoom platform. And so a lot of our trainings that I hosted are on the YouTube channel and now on the website. So we were able to maintain that. So that was a silver lining of Zoom, is we're able to record the trainings. More people were able to come,
And then you can
Right.
upload them, and then more people could see
and
it.
then more people can watch them.
Right.
So that is how I've done that component, kind of get the education out there, get the training piece out there, in hopes that a case regarding or involving domestic violence will be tried better, right? Because people know how to try it. They know how to marshal their evidence, present their evidence, prepare their witnesses, and bring to the table what will be helpful for the court to say, here's how we're going to go forward in a better way. Here's the therapeutic intervention that we need in order to make the family unit as a whole healthier. And this is the therapeutic intervention that we need to protect the children.
Do you,
Right.
you don't get any type of discounts? I'm trying to think
Do you
about
get traffic tickets? Can
The
they, like,
perks.
if you speed and they give you a traffic ticket, or do you got a card that you're showing? It's like, what are you talking about?
You know,
What do you not see the card,
That-
or do they run your license plate and they be like, "Judge, don't pull this person over"?
so I don't have the judicial license plates. I kind of try to stay as anonymous as possible when we're living our life, right? Because
Right,
I'm
you
usually
don't
with
want
my
pe-
kids,
I
and it's
understand.
me, and I just want to make sure that we have our space.
Right.
And they don't necessarily have to come into the courtroom with me or be in that space if it's not what we were planning for, right? Like, I'm not expecting to go to HEB, like dragging them, telling them to hurry up, and trying to carry the milk and the bread and the eggs and bring them over, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna get stopped and be like, you know what?
You tried my case.
I don't like the way you treated me.
Right.
It's kind of a little jarring. So I try to not, I don't know how to say it. I try not to flaunt.
But you can though, huh? Like you
I
can.
know, you actually can't.
Well,
So, there
Look,
are
I'm a
ethics
judge.
and canons you're not supposed to.
Are you? So when you say civil are you like Judge Joe Brown and Judge Mathis?
I wish I were like
No,
that.
I'm saying, like-
where's that contract? I'll sign up
No,
for that.
I'm saying, like they're civil. Are they civil? Just because when
I think so, from what I remember.
so you try those type of cases.
I think she had said like child support, divorces.
Right. So in the civil case,
But
it's
it could be more civil,
family.
like somebody
Yeah,
owe you something.
what else?
and personal injury
Right.
and
Okay.
contract disputes, business dissolutions. You know, there's sometimes attorneys, sometimes doctors. They go into business together, and then it falls apart. And so you gotta take apart their assets, divide their assets. Sometimes those business disputes are just as contentious and personal and emotional as divorces between.
Friends.
You ever watch
colleagues.
Judge Joe Brown and Judge Mathis and just be laughing?
You a crackhead. I know you a crackhead. You was a crackhead over there. You owe the man money. Ma'am, you owe the man money. No, you're not going to come in this courtroom.
Can you talk
and act
like
like
that?
a crackhead? You a crackhead.
Can you talk like?
That's how he be
But
talking.
could you talk like that? Like if you wanted to on I know that's TV,
I-
but could you talk like that in your courtroom?
You do what you want.
No.
Okay.
So part of, I think, what I try to emulate are the mentors that helped shape me in my early career, right? And I got to work for two great federal judges. Judge Greenaway back in New Jersey, Judge Clark here in Texas, and their decorum and their protection to the institution, if you will, is kind of something that is within me. And so I try to maintain, and the expectation is that it will be maintained, proper decorum in the courtroom, that the structure is followed, and that, you know, we can't expect our community to trust the process if we're not protecting the process and the institution, right? Like, people are coming to court expecting that a legal and factual stranger to their lives are going to be making decisions about liability, whether or not somebody is responsible for negligent conduct, their property division, whether it be a 1-year marriage or a 30-year marriage, and their kids, right? Who's going to have to spend how much time, or who's going to get
That's
to spend
difficult.
how much time with the kids, by what structure, by what guidelines, how much child support is going to be imposed, what else is going to be imposed. I mean, these are really important decisions that people, you would think, would want to make themselves, but they're coming to court because they can't. And so, you know, I think it is incumbent upon the judge to establish a decorum in the courtroom where people feel, whether they win or lose, because you're right, somebody's going to walk away thinking they didn't get their justice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? But whether they win or lose, that the process worked. That this was better than fighting in the street corner and perhaps, you know, violently ending a dispute. That this works. That this is one of the foundations of our country, to have this institution as a dispute resolver.
Yeah.
We're gonna
that's
get to the comments in a second, but I got one question before we get to the comments.
Yeah,
they got questions for you.
Okay, good.
Oh.
'Cause I can't see them. I wanted to pull it up, and I was like, I didn't get there.
You can pull it up.
Yeah. When it pops up, just make sure you turn your volume
Yeah,
down.
you can pull it up, mama. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. What was your question?
So seeing that you have to make decisions for people's lives, does that impact, like, and again, I don't know if you're married or not, but does the certain situations in the courtroom impact what goes on in your life, like as far as your family? Like, dang, like let's say for instance you give someone whatever, you take someone's kids. I don't know if that's how it works, okay? But you grant someone custody or whatever. Is there anyone that, being a judge, someone looks at it and be like, you was wrong for that decision?
Your
You get what I'm
colleagues
saying?
tell
Like, when you
that?
come home and be like, you wasn't right for that. Like, you just throwing your power around now. You shouldn't even done that. That girl was wrong.
I think,
Or that man was wrong, however.
do people think that way of me is the question?
Or how about your colleagues come to you and say, I don't think you made the right
Yeah,
decision?
has it ever been to where, like, oh, I shouldn't have done it? Even if they don't act, have you ever made the wrong decision?
Oh,
Have to go
personally?
back?
Like her
Yeah,
personally? Oh.
yeah, and you had to
Have you
come
ever
back.
felt you made the wrong decision?
Yeah, and you had to come back like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Can you come back?
Yeah, can you
Well,
recant? like, oh snap! I gave it to the wrong parent. No, do it again.
Come
Do it
back.
again. Yeah,
I need to see y'all tomorrow. I've thought about it.
yeah. I
No.
thought about it.
I got to sleep on it.
Well, I'll tell you, there are some cases where I just don't know if I'm ready to rule.
Okay.
And I do wait to issue a ruling on those cases, whether it's the next day or if it's a Friday on Monday. But with family cases, you can't sit on them very long, right? Because people are waiting.
Right.
Children are waiting.
Right.
Like there's a situation that is evolving day by day, hour by hour, right? And I think that's part of it. Our colleagues, generally, we're very respectful of each other. There's 14 civil district courts, and all 14 of us have very different backgrounds, very different perspectives, very different attention that we bring to make our decisions. I think I have had time and opportunity to speak with friends on the bench and kind of say, okay, this is what I'm thinking. Tell me what you think. This is where I'm leaning, but this is what I'm concerned about. Can you talk through this with me? Like there are colleagues that I have
those conversations with,
that I have that trust in their judgment and experience, and we can have that together. So
is it final? Is when you make that decision, it's final? There's no going back for you as a judge?
It depends, right? If it's a temporary order case or if it's a final, like, this is the trial on the merits, is what it's called. Temporary orders in family law cases, attorneys come back, they add temporary orders that they forgot to ask for, they modify temporary orders because things have changed, they ask for additional temporary orders because at the time that they tried the case in August, they didn't expect it to still be pending in June of the following year, but it is, and so they didn't ask for summer visitation guidelines and parameters, so now they need them. So temporary orders are as fluid as the case itself, right? But a trial on the merits, let me see if I don't know if I've necessarily changed decisions, but I've clarified decisions at the time that they actually enter the order, right? Because I think when people, either they're representing themselves or they're represented by attorneys, when you're at court and you're arguing and you're asking for relief, you've got an outline, you've got a frame of relief that you're seeking and a frame of mind, and that's that day. But then when you or your lawyer go and you start drafting the order and you start following the forms and you like, oh, we forgot to talk about this, right? Like the exchange location.
So you can come back and do it again?
So at the motion to enter, they'll come back and they'll say, hey, Judge, we didn't talk about where.
Like, no do-overs. No, ain't no do-overs. You should have thought about that. No, we won.
No,
we won.
but
You should have thought about that. You can't enter that in the evidence now. No, the glove don't fit. You must have quit. No, no. Don't try to bring up. That's old.
I do appreciate, the revelation that our court TV dramas have brought, right? Like, everybody can be on the SVU unit, right? Everybody can go, snap pictures of fingerprints. But it's good. But it's not like that, right? Like our TV shows are different than reality. And reality, I think, is a lot more forgiving, a lot more interactive, a lot more graceful. At least in the 45th that I've presided over, right? So if there's something that needs to be addressed, well, the 45th, it's a Bexar County case, but the 45th is here at 100 De La Rosa, 4th floor, historic.
Oh, that's where I always go. Okay, I'm not.
Yeah.
That's where I always go.
Sound horrible. Oh, that's why I'm always there. That's traffic tickets and stuff, right? That's cool. Oh, De La Rosa.
Come on Monday and we'll have a cup of coffee. Show you around, give you a tour.
I don't even like it. It's like a reddish building, isn't it? Isn't it like reddish, sand reddish? Yeah, that's traffic tickets. Yeah.
We'll see what some of the people are saying on the comments.
Ain't traffic tickets there? Yeah.
That's on Frio, I think.
Okay, yeah, Frio. There you go, Frio.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, let's get to the comments real quick. Let's see what they saying. All right, we're going to go to the top. All right, so the comments, first off,
D-Live going to tell me to get up off my phone. I have to share everything. I don't just be on my phone. I have to share it to the groups. You feel me? What up, Eric? All right. Fritznell, Avar, the Star say, why don't women get arrested for making false accusations?
That's a good one.
False accusations of what?
Say rape.
Oh, she being biased.
Say for instance,
Of what? Of everything.
say rape or he hit me. However,
Do you deal with those cases too?
So I deal
Domestic,
with
like-
domestic violence cases in the protective order, custody, and divorce context, right? So I don't preside over any of the criminal cases, and so if that's like I just
You ever had to get somebody half they like, let's say like you married, you ever had to get the other spouse half? Like, well, I'm giving them half your stuff. Like,
Dang, she just gave them half this man's stuff. You ever had to do that?
Let's answer that. Answer Avar's question first. Like, why is it that you know what I'm saying? Like I said, why don't women get arrested for false accusations? Just in general, maybe in your opinion, or just in general what you've seen.
Well,
what do you think that is?
Well, I don't know if the premise of the question is actually accurate, right? Because I don't know what happens in the DA's office. I don't know what happens SAPD investigations unit or whatever. I do know that it's a crime to perjure yourself on the stand. I know that it's a crime to make false police reports. Now, if that's not being done, I wouldn't know without the context of the situation.
There's been cases where we find out that the person lied, but yet that woman doesn't get any time for that. The case might just be dismissed.
So what I've learned is that context is incredibly important, right? So everybody comes and approaches sometimes these topics like domestic violence with a preconceived notion about what it means and what happens and what the outcome is going to be, as though there's some magic ball that somebody has and they can see the future. I don't know what the context of that is when you say, well, everybody knows that she lied.
No, I will just say that it comes out, like, even in court, that she lied, right? You know what I'm saying? Why is it there's no consequence for the person, per se, that lied in that situation?
So,
or the woman in his
what
case.
would be the lie? So if her testimony, let's just do this hypothetical, right? If her testimony was, he strangled me, pushed me up against the wall, and punched me, right? There's a video of the situation, right? It was a strangulation and a throw to the floor. Okay. Well, did she lie because she said he punched her?
But what you see the video and none of that happened.
I think he should be allowed to punch her and choke her at that point if you see that she lied.
Oh no.
Hey, fair is fair. No, I'm just playing.
So let me because this is something. So it's not choke, right? Like you choke inadvertently on food or something in your throat, right? Something gets lodged in your throat, and it's not intentional. It's kind of accidental, right? Strangulation is attempted murder, right? Like somebody is coming to you wanting to cut off your air so you can die, right? It's not. I think we kind of water down the scenario that some of our community members are facing when we say, "Oh, he choked her." Like she just, choked on a piece of bread or something. No, he was trying to kill her.
That's attempted murder. Do y'all give, if somebody choked, do y'all give attempted murder for something like that?
So I don't do criminal.
Oh, my bad. Let's get to the other questions. My bad.
But I don't feel like the question was answered.
Well, she did. She said she needs to put it in context. She can't answer it if she don't put it in context.
But the context of you see the video and she lied, you throw it out. So you throw it out because you seen the video, she lied. You're lying, ma'am. Throw this case out. Sir, you can go home. Ma'am, go home. But how come there's no consequence for her?
So I don't know if there isn't. So so let's put it in the context, the hypothetical, in what I would see, like a family law case. Visitation is on the table. So if I have a person who's not credible, who's making false allegations of domestic violence, or who is otherwise not following the court order on visitation, then the consequence may be that visitation is restricted to her. Or that primary conservatorship is shifted so that way the other parent has demonstrated to be that they're the more protective parent, get the children to therapy, get access. So those kind of things can happen, and so who's to say that's not a consequence? Again, I don't know the context of the question, but I can't answer for the DA. I can't answer for SAPD or law enforcement or any of the sister courts on the criminal side, because I don't do that. But again, context is key. I don't know if that maxim is necessarily what's happening now.
Gotcha. All right, next one. This comes from my dude Eric J. Velasquez. He says, "What do you think? What do you think some sitting elected judges could do to innovate, being able to be more accessible to the community?"
That's a great question. This is something that we were talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
I first ran and started campaigning. I don't come from a political family. The notion of being a politician is still kind of new to me, and it's a little uncomfortable. But I ran in 2017 and was successful in 2018 with a lot of my colleagues. And I think our class has made a very conscious, intentional effort of being accessible to the community. We've hosted town halls, we've hosted trainings, we have Facebook pages that we interact with sometimes on a daily basis. You know, people send us messages. And I think all of those things are ways that our judiciary has innovated itself to be more accessible to the community, to let our constituents know that we may not be able to give policy stances, that we may not be able to talk in a way or present positions in a way that other politicians can, like in our legislature or in our executive. But we are accessible and we are here to serve.
So how do they get a hold of you? Like they wanted you to come to their community event, or you know what I'm saying, like how are you accessible? Just email you, or how does that work?
Facebook message, email, website, click on the contact me now. There's a cell phone number on the website, there's address, there's Twitter, there's Instagram. I mean,
assistance.
Is there a way, this might sound ignorant, and we living in the future, everything has an alternative to where, oh yeah, you can do this on the side. It sounds weird when I say on the side, but just it's the only way that I know how to ask. So do you have to do it, like, let's say me and him are having an issue and you a judge, do we have to go to court? Or since I know you, can I be like, hey, come over here and solve this real quick, and it rule, like, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like if your cousin a cop, like my next door neighbor a cop. Not this question.
So does it have to be in the courtroom?
Yeah, like
or
can
he
out of his uniform? Let's say me and somebody fighting. Can he out of his uniform come and do something? Not to him. Not, you know, I'm not asking the question to him, but just saying for you. Do you have to be in your robe and everything to be a judge, or can, if me and him having an issue right now, can you settle it right now and be like, no, you're going 5 years to jail or whatever, and then you call, or you got to be in a courtroom?
So we can only preside over cases that have been filed with the district clerk and presented, right? So now if we're friends and I'm trying to like help talk things through a resolution, of course I could do that. Like,
but you're just an individual.
Like, we ain't in the courtroom. You don't got the answer.
But
we're not in the courtroom.
Yeah, my kids don't do what I say anyway, ever. So, so my friends are here and there depending on what they think of the advice that I give them.
Okay, so at that point, you're just an individual giving advice. Plain and simple.
Just okay. Hold on. We got a couple more. We got a couple more questions from the viewers. All right, Eric, one more time says, can you finally put to rest the whole red light camera issue that plagues Leon Valley and Balcon Heights? People feel like they will get in trouble for not paying it. I don't know if that's your district.
Albear County.
Oh, Albear County. You're right. Okay, there we go.
But I don't do traffic stuff.
Oh, okay.
She don't do traffic. She can't answer that. All right. Let's see. Okay, Bree Queen. She says, how often have you given a wrong verdict? Or are you perfect?
We talked about that earlier.
Are you perfect to? Okay. No, we didn't. She said that. How often have you ever given a wrong verdict? Like, dang, that was wrong.
Well, I don't know if it's wrong, right? I mean, there've been a handful of times where I'm just like, you know what? I hope this is where what the family needed, right? Like things are so close, the facts are so hard to decipher, and I'm definitely not perfect, right? Like that's the virtue and the vice of our judiciary is our judges are human. Our humanity comes out all the time. And it's an asset, right? Like, I don't think I want a robot assessing my life.
Right.
But with that, humanity is the imperfection that is just
That's
part
what
of
makes
us.
it perfect.
It's part of us, right? It's the imperfect.
Perfectly imperfection.
Right.
Perfectly imperfect.
Perfectly imperfect.
There we go.
And that's the best gauge of each other.
Okay. Well, right now, I know there's more comments, but we will get right back to the comments. Right now, we need you to use your judgment right now. Okay.
Uh-oh.
You ready?
You about to judge somebody.
You about
You about to judge
I'm
somebody.
gonna need you to pull out.
You
I'm gonna need
about
you to
to
pull
judge
out the
somebody.
judgment right now. It's gonna be some of the hardest decisions you're gonna have to make today. Today.
Okay.
Godlin, are you paying? Godlin, go ahead and run that first song for us, please.
We about to do the whack or not.
Bump it or junk it.
Are we bumping this or are we junking this?
We definitely want to get the people's opinion as well, but as well as the judge's opinion on the song.
Is it a music video or just a
But
song?
you know, I'm
It's
a
gonna be
little
music.
old. So
I think
it's like,
you might.
You know what
still
good
might-
is.
Right.
It's like tacos taste ain't changed. Taco was good. Taco was good yesterday. Is it gonna be good today? Well, you know what good is. You feel me?
All right, now, young blood, what we gonna do now, young blood? We gonna take your radiator and throw that under your carbonator. Then we gonna take your carbonator and throw that next to your transmission. And we gonna get you rolling now, young blood. We gonna get you right. Give me a second now.
Give me a little something on the side.
they're not supposed to do
You
that.
got that court case Thursday, don't you? Well.
We getting back in. We back in.
Oh my
All right,
gosh,
all right.
Alan.
So that was
We have a good time here.
Cadillac Music. It's Friday. There are actually some local artists here from San Antonio. What did you think
Shout out
about
to
that
Cadillac
song
Music.
there?
Yes, I loved it.
You loved it. That's what was your thoughts, Arvin?
I like Cadillac Music. They always have a lot of character to their videos.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. They have like a
lot
little
of songs.
Outkast
Yeah,
feel.
they got a little Outkast feel. I don't want to just throw Outkast because they aside of that they got a whole little vibe to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Do you think artists get offended when you compare them to somebody in the industry?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, he's a rapper.
Unless you're doing it to like someone, like I'm sure they wouldn't get offended with Outkast, but I'm sure that they're not doing this to be seen as Outkast.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like, if they good is good. Again, good is good. So why compare it and be like, oh, this tastes just like a carne asada, bro? It's not. It's a carne asada. Let me have it. Just let it be what it is. Why you gotta compare me?
All right. And it seems like the people's digging it too. Tomorrow side says dig. It's okay for me. Star says it's okay for me. Feel my vibes. Mozzie said feel my.
Phil Mob, one of my favorite groups. I love Phil Mob.
That's what's up, man. All right, we got another one for you guys. Godlin, let's go ahead and hear the second one.
She said, girl, you know, I got that drill. I said, girl, my drip different.
I ain't even tripping cause I know you see the drill. Know you see the drill. Know you see the drill. I ain't even tripping cause I know you see the drill. Know you see the drill. Know you see the drill.
I ain't even tripping, cause I know you see the drill. Know you see the drill. Know you see the drill. Ooh, hey, I said I know you see the drill. Know you see the drill. Know you see the.
Big boss, iced out, fofos tipping. H-Town, baby, and we wood grain grippy, yeah, we trippin'. I ain't even trippin' if they tippin'. If they see it and they want it, guarantee you, I'ma flip it. Got the ice whites and the Nike nights. Tell me once, I'ma show you twice. Baby boy, stay drip down. He's born to love like People Bryce. Ball in the 2K, 21 with the fresh fade. Stephen A, no hairline. Get it right on the first take. Fanny matter, so we went slow. All that like Niccolo. D-N, then we wind it back like Fat Pat, throw it in the game. 100 with the trill rhymes. White snapback twice as fine. Sun came out, drip down from head to toe, so I know he mine. I ain't even tripping cause I know you see the drill. Know you see the drill. Know you see the drill. I ain't even tripping cause I know you see the drill. Know you see the drill. Know you see the drill.
I ain't even tripping, cause I know you see the drill. Know you see the drill. Know you see the.
I like both.
Yeah, I like it. I like that. I like the Cadillac one a little more, but I like this one. Yeah. This was all.
All right. So I definitely enjoy it, man. I definitely like to see when black people get together and do something positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not about drugs. It's not about money. You know what I'm saying? It's about about family. Mm-hmm. So that's something that I definitely appreciate. You know what I'm saying? That's something that you can show your kids.
What you think, Judge?
I liked it.
Okay,
great.
I liked it. Yeah.
I like the simplicity of it. I'm a firm believer of less is more. You get what I'm saying?
The star said she would bump it.
Yeah, I believe less is more. I actually like that. I really like it.
Said the beat fire.
Yeah. I like the picture frame pose. Right
yeah,
there.
man. The visual was dope.
That's what I'm saying. Something was more. I like it. I like it.
Okay. Well, let's get into a hot topic real quick. We just had the voting rights.
All of it was a hot topic.
No. We just had the voting rights rejected. Yeah, I know you've seen that. Now we have the two Democrats that are pretty much blocking the vote. In your opinion, why do you think that is?
So, why do I think the legislative process is the way it is?
No, why do you think that they are blocking it? In your opinion, this is all your personal opinion, not professional, but personal. Why do you think they're blocking?
Dang, I didn't even look at that.
So, part of being in this role, I have found, is that sometimes there is not an opportunity to distinguish the professional and the personal.
Okay.
Right. So I can't comment on pending legislation or current legislation or statutes that may, in some way, that I can predict or not predict, come before the court in a controversy. Right. So if things change and the law passes, and for whatever reason, I would think if it's federal legislation, it'd be in federal court. But you never know. Mm-hmm. It could wind up in state district court under some theory. Mm. I wouldn't want to not have the opportunity to exercise my judgment because of a personal opinion that was expressed years or months before. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
I mean, well, does it kind of bother you? Did it bother you when like I said, I think they're a part of Congress, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm going to ask you this. What's the best way for us as the people? Because we're the one who voted these people into the Congress. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is we don't pay attention to that part, the Congress part. We pay attention only, at least as civilians, for the most part, we pay attention only to the presidential. And that's what we're invested into. But what's the best way to go about in researching these Congress members and doing our due diligence to make sure that we have the right people in place so we don't have situations like this?
So I think that is a beautiful thing about our social media, right? Like there's tons of things about the negativity and like the unintended consequences of social media. But I think social media has done a really good job about making our elected officials accessible. Mm-hmm. And everybody in Congress has Twitter, Facebook, Instagram sometimes, maybe TikTok for some of the younger ones, right? I don't know how to use TikTok, but other people do. And so I think every feed, every social media platform, every website, every press release, that is an opportunity to learn about that elected official.
Yes. And
you can find them, right? Like Google or Yahoo or whatever search engine you like to use, you can find things. And I think that is a way that we can find out about our elected officials.
So they need to pay attention pretty much.
But I think people are, right? Like I think our community, I don't necessarily fall into this narrative. And this came up last legislative session when they essentially instituted a commission to study whether or not judges should be elected, or if there was some other way by which judicial selection should happen in the state of Texas. Right?
What options were they throwing out there? I don't understand.
Yeah. Appointed by the governor, retention elections, nonpartisan elections. I mean, they had some different theories that they had, and to the commission's credit, had studied from ways other states in our country select their judiciary. But Texas, I think, has it right. Right? When you are living your life, for the most part, you have a very high probability of coming in contact with your judiciary. Mm-hmm. More so than, presenting to commissioner's court, more so than going to the governor's mansion and demanding a meeting with the governor, right? The judiciary is kind of like at the forefront of how you will interact with everyday constituents.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like I said, Texas has it right. We vote our judges in, and we get to learn about them. And the best way, I think, that we have to provide information to our community is by determining what political philosophy we align with. I align with the Democratic platform. That's my party. That's the party that I grew up in. That's what I believe is the best way to govern our community, our state, our country.
Mm-hmm.
And so just that little bit of information, it can speak a whole bunch of things to our community. And so thankfully, I think there was enough community outcry, enough public outcry and testimony and conversation where our judicial selection in the state of Texas is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We vote our judges in by a partisan election with the off cycle or with the presidential cycle, right? The governor's
Mm-hmm.
cycle or the presidential cycle. But I think this narrative of an uninformed constituency is going by the wayside. I think our voters are getting out there and learning about their elected officials. Mm-hmm. And I think our elected officials are going out to the community and saying, this is who I am. This is what I've done. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to continue to serve. Will you have me again?
Mm-hmm.
Here's my push card. Here's my website. Here am I to answer your questions to the extent that I can at a town hall or at a breakfast or whatever. I think there's a lot more engagement and desire for knowledge and expertise in our voters than we give our voters credit for.
I agree. I honestly agree with that, especially when you're saying, for right now with the social media and everything and everyone on Twitter and all of that, if I have an issue with a judge or a judge didn't do something correctly, and let's say they did do something correctly, we can acknowledge them immediately. Hey, at judge such and such, great job. Mm-hmm. And then they could, respond back. So I feel like whether it's good or bad, social media has bridged the gap between us and our officials, even if it's with the president.
But I feel that the thing about social media, the thing about social media, though, first of all, our news feed is only going to put in there what we usually look at. So I'm not talking about a news feed as far as I'm talking about if you want to speak with them. Like, okay, you could, but you need to know and be educated about them first.
And that's what I'm saying. As far as the internet has come, as far as we are right now, I believe more people today,
they can be more reachable, more accessible.
Not even reachable. More people are knowledgeable on what's going on. There's still a lot of education for us to learn. There's still a lot of things for us to learn. We have the internet.
I don't know anybody in Congress besides the people I was just talking to her about.
But you don't have to know them. But I'm saying
you
can look them up.
That's the whole point.
You can now look them up as opposed to 20 years ago.
And we couldn't.
Let's say she was a congresswoman. And they said we wouldn't know who this woman was. There's no way for she just a name to us, and then we got to go look up in like some book
in the phone book.
Yeah, and look up who she is. Now we can go Google and like, she did this in 04. Okay, in 03 she did this, and like we could actually see now who, when, where, and why they did what they did, as opposed to right now because we got the internet. So
okay, well, I got a question that you could probably more relate to. So when it comes to the judge made the ruling on this is how custody should go, right? Whether it be through the courts or what's the other way to do it? Is there's another way?
Mediation.
Not even necessarily mediation, but say you and that person agree. All you gotta do is y'all fill it out, send it in. The judge looks over it, stamps it. You're good to go.
Right, an agreed order.
Agreed order. Okay, so say y'all have an agreed order, or y'all did it through court. Cause I'm pretty sure it's the same difference regardless, because the judge signed, correct?
Contested, right? Contested or agreed, it gets signed.
So
at some point.
So when one parent doesn't go by the order, it seems like, okay, example, you're supposed to get the child on this day. You go to try to get the child on this day, and they don't give you the child. You can even call the police, and the police is going to say, hey, that you got to work that out in court. So now you got to take the person back to court. You go back to court, judge says, okay, you're supposed to do this, yada, yada, yada. Y'all back out there. The person does it again. At what point does the other parent get in trouble? Is it the third time y'all go back? Is it the second time y'all go back? Should it be the first time? Like, at what point does the other parent get in trouble for not following?
So again, it depends, right? Like, I wish I could give you a bright line rule.
With you, when would they get in trouble?
Even with me, it depends on the context, right? I can tell you that, again, probably because of the way my career began and because of who my mentors are and because I take my role in protecting the judiciary very seriously, because I think it is like one of our 3 cornerstones for our organized country. Orders matter.
Correct.
Our court orders matter. And if something is filed and there's a motion for enforcement that's properly pled and the evidence is as you would expect it or as is alleged, then the consequences happen at that first hearing. That's the way it's set up.
So which would be the second time you went to court, because you went to court the first time to get the agreement. So that second time you go to court, at that point, consequences will be put out at that point.
What are you coming to court on? Are you coming to court with the properly filed and pled motion for enforcement and sanctions?
Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, paperwork. You come with your paperwork that was already signed by the judge prior.
Well, but then you've got to do the motion, right? Your motion for enforcement. You've got to say, like, on this day,
oh my God,
I went here, which is where I was supposed to be per the court order, and this didn't happen. On this day, I went here, and there.
So you got to lay out your evidence,
right?
per se.
So you get all your evidence, you get your allegations, and then part of the hearing for the motion for enforcement is I'm proving up the allegations. Are there any defenses? Is there any legal reason why the order was not complied with? Right? Like, was there a car accident and both mother and child are in the emergency room? Was there an agreement that was reached and there's a writing of it, and then that particular day, one parent or the other either forgot about the agreement or wanted to disregard the agreement or tried to trap the other parent with a false agreement? I mean, again, context is everything. So that's why you have that hearing, that second hearing or that first hearing after the entry of the final order, is to make your allegations, marshal your evidence, and then give the other person an opportunity to defend.
But in that case, once all that is figured out, there's consequences.
If there's no defense to not following a court order, in my court, there are consequences.
I feel like, and it's just me, a lot of, as far as the child support and the divorce, anything that has to do with the man and the woman, is usually going to be in the woman's favor.
Yes, why is
usually that? I let's just say it's not supposed to be like that. You can agree that most likely it's going to be in the woman's favor.
I will not agree to that. No,
let's
sir.
not agree. Okay,
and
what I see,
you know what?
it looks like it.
It's
It
so
appears.
Interesting because I wonder if there were 2 female
I'm not
hosts
agreeing to nothing.
this show,
Would they say the same thing?
if their perspective would be, most of the time when you go to court, the man is going to be the one that
seems like the man is always having to pay child support. The woman is always getting the alimony. She's always getting the house. It just seems
so
like
there's
that.
no alimony in Texas because I think our legislature is still male dominated. But
okay, I'm agree. Okay,
but there is spousal maintenance, and on temporary orders, arguably there's interim spousal support.
and usually the woman gets that.
You know who usually gets spousal maintenance?
Whoever makes
Children
whoever
or
makes
something?
less money, huh?
Is a person who's qualified to get it, right? So and it's set by statute as far as like the parameters by which.
See, that's why these men need to quit being so traditional. Be like, I'm gonna take care of my woman. Okay, well, she gonna get half when you do. She the one not making nothing. She about to get half of your stuff. Stop working. You better stop working, fam. You get married, quit working.
So here's this beautiful, like, look. Let me. I'm like, which one do I drink to like get myself a minute? But no, let me see. So when you're married, everything belongs to both people.
Right.
Right? Husband and wife, wife and wife, husband and husband. When you're married, the dollars you make are for the community estate. the properties you purchase are for the community estate.
Mm-hmm.
The cars you buy are for the community
Until you
estate.
get mad.
Well,
Then when you get mad, then it's yours. Like,
well,
get out.
Not in the
but
court
that,
system.
you know, but that's the law. We're a
Right.
community asset, community estate. That's what's happening during the marriage. It's not your money. It's not my money. It's our money. It's not your house. It's our house. It's not your car. It's our car. Now, whoever is using it the most, or whoever's paycheck was bigger, and whatever the proportion is for the investment, I mean, that's part of the evidence at the time of dissolution, at the time of divorce. But there's always a community estate that's being built. That's the presumption, is during the course of the marriage, it is for the union.
In your experience, though, just humor me. In your experience, if you had to put it on a scale, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's like that, who usually is
awarded the kids the
award?
most?
Like, yeah, who
awarded the child
usually,
support?
who usually gets the most?
I mean, we know it.
I
The women
know
gets
it's the woman. Like,
Oh my
I
God.
know it's
I
the woman.
wish that there were two female hosts here, co-hosts here, that could kind of like
Let's see what they
offer
say.
their perspective.
Let's see what they say. Let's see.
Yeah, audience, what do y'all
What do
think?
y'all think?
Does a woman get awarded most of the time? Does a woman get awarded the kids, the child
Or anything,
support?
child support, anything.
Even when she wants to, even if she has no reason, to want more money. Besides, you're making more money. She don't need the more money, but
Yeah.
you take her to court. You take him to court. She's going to get that. She's 9 times out of 10, she's going to get, because he's making more money. She's going to get awarded.
Let's see what our viewers say. Let's see.
I guess we are. I don't know. I guess we might be being biased, but this is what
You
we see.
might? Is that real? Like, might?
Let me say this. Look. We all being biased. She don't want to say it. She's like, I'm not saying it.
I
am a judge. She looks like, I am a
She's
judge.
a professional. She's a professional.
I
so
don't
it's
have
like-
one biased bone in my
Right.
body. I'm a judge. How dare you? I'm appalled. I am
How
a
do you
judge.
judge? Okay, how do you judge that? Okay, so say I'm on child support, right? We already have a certain amount, but now I've made more money. She takes me back.
Most of the time, yes, it's the woman. Let's be real. A
It
woman
is.
said that.
It is,
A
though.
woman said that.
How do you make that decision though? How is that decision based
So
when that happens? I mean, she might just be mad.
Can
know
you
what
give
I'm
birth? That's how she makes it. Can you give birth? No.
It goes to her.
do you have a uterus? No, I'm
Right, exactly. That's exactly how she judges it.
No.
How do you pee?
no,
Standing up or
no.
sitting
How
down?
does it
So
actually
look,
go?
So child support is set by statute.
Okay.
Okay, and so there's literally like a table in the Texas Family Code, and so if you have one child and no other children that are not before the court, right? So you really only just have that one child that's there at that case, then it's going to be 20% of your net on a monthly basis. So if your net goes up, 20% of your net goes up, and here's the thing. The child support is not what you're giving, quote unquote, her. And it's not what she's, quote unquote, taking from you. It is the obligation that our Texas legislature has studied and drafted as what is entitled and owed to the child.
Yes, but women use it and
So let me ask you this.
manipulate it.
Well, or men use it and manipulate it. I mean, the manipulation and the use, again, depends on the context. But you have a statute by which you start from. Like, there's no secret. When you're in a relationship and you're expecting to procreate and the relationship doesn't work, if there's a child of that,
Why not take care of it, right?
the child is there.
Hold up, hold on. I got a good question. Let me ask you this, because you're in this situation. I know someone.
I know someone who knows someone, or
No,
you just know
I
someone?
know.
I have a friend.
I know. No. They in the situation. I want to ask. Okay, so they pay child support, and when they tell me why, I'm like, dang, they don't even know this person, but I guess they went and tried to file child support on them, and then the person didn't show up for court,
and the judge still makes this person change. And I'm like, dang, y'all never had him. Like, no, bro, I never. They was like, I think he said that they was like, since he didn't show up or whatever,
They automatically put
and I'm
him
like,
on?
how fair? So you could possibly pay
Is that okay?
for
So
a
why
kid
is
that
that?
ain't even yours. You ain't even went and took a paternity test or nothing. Why? Like, that's crazy. And the judge just gonna say, oh, well, since you didn't show up,
Explain.
we just gonna rule in their favor.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
how the
she took a
fuck-
sip of water. Hold on.
Not the F word. I'm sorry, but like, how you just gonna rule in? Then anybody can do that.
So
Anybody can do that.
Explain that to us.
Okay, so that goes back to the process and the rules and the judiciary, right? Like the
There's no
institution.
proof of it though.
But there was no defense lodged. Right? So if
I could accuse you of murder,
No,
and
no,
then you don't.
so here's the thing. You file a lawsuit. You get that lawsuit properly served on the responding party. It's set for a trial. The day of the trial comes and that responding party doesn't show up. Then what happens, right? Like, it's not as though the courthouse doors are closed on the person seeking relief because the responding party failed to show up. How would that work?
But you don't know.
Right?
For
Like,
sure.
if you came to court saying, I want to establish visitation with my child, and you don't have possession of your child, you're trying to establish possession of your child, and you serve the other parent with a lawsuit, there's a date and time by which they're to come to court, and they don't, the courthouse doors can't be closed on you. You can't be left in limbo not having the opportunity to have a visitation order issued because the responding party, after proper service, failed to show up. The process continues. The default judgment gets issued.
Only because they were served, meaning you knew for a fact
that this was pending against you. This was the date and time by which you were to show up to court. The courthouse.
So you're still
keeps moving forward.
So let me ask. And let me just make sure I'm understanding correctly, because I'm gonna tell him this. I'm like, bro, they said that. Because this whole time we're like, bro, that's a conspiracy. Hell no, she wants to know the judge or some shit. She gotta know the judge. How do they just do that? So, but again, I appreciate you. So basically, I can go and, okay, I'm not a girl. All right, so a girl could go and say, hey, I believe this is the father of my child. I want to put him on child support. They don't even just randomly just come in. You set a court date for her and this dude. The dude don't show up. Now let's just say she was sitting in the park and just found this dude's name and number. She don't even know him. He don't show up to court. He don't show up to court. You just gonna put this man on child support because he didn't show up to court? Like because she got his like. Do you get what I'm saying? Because that's what it sounds like. Like, well, hold up. There's no evidence. Like, where's the evidence that this man did anything with this woman? It's like he didn't show up to court. Okay. Other than that, how you just making this man pay for this child that he don't even know them, or supposedly like.
Well, presumably she's there to prove up the relief she's seeking, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's there
How does she
to
prove it?
She's there to testify under oath. This is my baby. I conceived on this day. The man that I was having sex with is this person, and I know for a fact that person is this child's father.
Okay.
And I know this is what he makes. And this is how much he takes home, and this is his net earnings. And there's nobody left to answer. Like, if you got served with
but why would you just give them that though? If there's like,
because that's the process, right? They're entitled.
You can just do it.
No, they're entitled to relief after they get the responding person personally served. Because what are they to do then? Just to wait and say, "Oh, I hope that responding person answers this lawsuit. I hope the responding person respects the court process and comes to the courthouse doors and makes an appearance. I hope." That's not that can't be the way our institution works.
Then it could be on some. I hope they don't show up. Oh, please don't show up so I can just get it. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
like,
but who
don't show up, I
in
can just
there? And again, context is everything. And so perhaps they're in the emergency room and they're incapable and there's an impossibility of coming to court on that day. But if you're served with a lawsuit that you know to be baseless, I don't know who this person is. I never had a relationship with this person. I have a vasectomy. There's no way that I can procreate. Why wouldn't you show up on the date and time and tell the judge, this is a physical impossibility?
Right.
or I want a DNA test because I don't think this lawsuit is accurate.
But it just showed that they go in the defense of the woman. All she got to do is go in and be like, hey.
No, it goes in the defense of the process.
Of whoever.
You know what? But
whoever,
I get it
whoever,
now.
Yeah.
I get it now since he didn't show up.
Yeah.
But dang, it's still, I get it. But still, it's like, dang.
Now
Well,
somebody's
if
raising
you
a
get
child.
served with the lawsuit, like, it means something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Our institution, that third branch of government, is doing important, critical work. Like, if you're called to court, answer the lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, file your denial, file your request for paternity, file your defense, whatever it may be, whatever kind of lawsuit it is, right? If it's a car accident and somebody just like randomly picked you out of the phone book and said, you rear-ended me last week, or you rear-ended me on December of 2021, and you're like, I wasn't even in Bexar County for the whole month. I went to go visit whatever, my parents, my girlfriend, my wife, my husband, whatever. Wouldn't you come to court and say this lawsuit means nothing? Like I
got
wasn't
one.
here.
This what Star said. She said, but also if the documents are sent to last address on file and that person doesn't stay there anymore, that person can still get on child support and they never knew that they had a court date.
So personal service is like an actual physical
When you get
tag.
served, you have to see a
Like,
person. Okay.
There's a process server
Be out the
that
door.
goes-
Who is it? It's the constable. You ain't see me. Leave it at the door. Leave it at the door. Well. I hear you in there. How you know it's me? This could be anybody. It sounds like you. This could be anybody, sir. This could be anybody, sir. I'm not going. I won't be in court. I know that's you, sir. No, you don't know it's me. Can you see through the wall? How do you know? I won't be there. And sir, just to confirm, you can't see me, right? No, I never got that letter.
I want to ask you this: how has the judicial system? First of all, matter of fact, first things first. Can you explain what the judicial system is? Like for those who may not understand, explain the judicial system.
Oh gosh, I love it. So it's our third equal branch of government. Whether it's on the federal level or on the state level, like it is the balance between the executive and the legislative branch, right? So as judges, the judicial institution, we're called to resolve the disputes and rule according to the rule of law, right? The statutes that are in place, the case law that's in place, we're to apply those to any particular situation. And
We're getting good. It's getting good. They telling us to wrap it up. It's getting so good.
I know. Well, I don't have the time. I'm sorry.
No, we go. We
We'll let you finish that real quick.
So that's what we're called to do. That and it's a beautiful thing, right? Because it is the place by which sometimes it is the only place by which progress happens, because it's not bound by the majority. It's not bound by popularity. It is an able judge doing their very best as humanly possible to apply the rule of law and to make sure that justice is achieved.
And just to cover, you were voted in, right? I mean, like you were voted in as well. That's what I'm saying. So you earned your spot where you are right now. Like you had to be voted.
Well, the people, you convinced the people.
I'm saying, but like the people have
And
to
I
vote
hope
for
I
you.
convince them again.
You have to.
Oh, so are you running?
voted
Are
in.
you running again?
I'm running again.
We voting for you?
Okay,
We
yeah.
voting?
So yeah, tell us.
I'm
When
vote
you're
twice.
Tell us when are you voting?
my first.
Vote early, vote often. No, I'm kidding. No,
Yes.
vote once, please.
Okay, well, when?
Okay.
Let us know when. What dates? What?
So I'm on the Democratic primary. So if you're voting in the Democratic primary, you will see my name. Please vote for me. Early voting starts on February 14th this year, which I love, right? So love your vote, love your voice. Go to the polls Monday, February 14th and vote. That's Valentine's Day. It's
Yeah.
so beautiful. Like
Put a little heart on your name. Put a heart.
Yes.
You feel me?
There you go.
Heart.
Big heart right there. No, so you can vote for me in early voting, February 14th through February 28th. And then election day for our primary is March 1st.
Cool.
So, and judgealvarez.com is where you can learn more about me, find out about my work, and press the contact button if you want to send us a message.
There you go. Y'all heard it. So we have something new that we're doing. We have the Atomic Member of the Week.
Okay.
Godlin, can you go ahead and put up that photo?
Who the Atomic Member of the Week?
Atomic Member of the Week
is
drum roll.
Pause.
Well, he's like, give
Drum
me a
roll.
second.
Here it come.